Hey guys, my name is Escarla. Welcome back to my channel. This is my crafty little corner of the universe where I like to document my making. Pretty much that revolves around knitting, spinning, crocheting, and fiber arts related content. So if you're into that, please subscribe to the channel. Happy April and happy spring. I am so excited that it's finally warming up outside. I've been in the thick of it towards the end of winter, and I am just excited that the trees are blooming. Everything is coming back to life outside. I have this beautiful, I guess it's a cherry blossom or a similar cherry blossom style tree right outside my window, and it finally bloomed and it's pink and beautiful. And I think that the weird weather shift is making it kind of die quicker than it should. But I am just happy that the trees are coming back to life. Nature's reawakening, and it's kind of just sparking more energy in me, whereas previously I was just kind of in this wintry dread and at a standstill. So I am very much excited for this video because I've been daydreaming about spring and summer knits for quite a while now. I have a sweater I'm currently working on that I'm definitely not going to be able to wear in time for this season, but I'm just super looking forward to making some exciting new things for summer and spring. My wardrobe desperately needs it, and I've kind of been going on a ravelry rabbit hole the past few weeks, and I gathered a few patterns that I'm excited about and am eager to cast on. Disclaimer, you know me by this point, and if you don't, I tend to kind of be a little bit of an overachiever and kind of plan, and then things don't really go to plan. But I'm hoping that I do make at least half of these. And if I can do that, I would be very satisfied because, like I said, my wardrobe really needs it. And I want a couple of pieces in colors that I don't currently have, and some garments that I've kind of had in my library for a while. So yes, I've gathered a few, and I feel like as a result of my winter dread, slight depression, and state of affairs in our country has led me to buy yarn. And it's something that I didn't want to do this year, but to be honest, I really didn't have any spring and summer yarn. A lot of my fiber is wool or acrylic. And I don't really want to make garments with acrylic. I reserve my acrylic stash usually for blanket making or accessories for the home, pillows and things like that. So I went on a yarn bender and I bought a lot of yarn, which I am not feeling that guilty about anymore. I was feeling a little guilty about it because it was am I just consuming for the sake of pleasure and to spark some excitement in me? Or do I really need these things? And you know what? I did really need these things because I need to make some spring and summer things. So I'll let you know what I have in mind for the designs that I want to make, but at the end I'll show you my current stash for spring and summer makes. So yeah, let's get right into it. Just so you know, I have my notes gathered down here, and I'm going to be pulling up the designs as I speak so that I can refresh my brain, and I'll share the notes that I have put together. So I've really wanted to make something that I can wear over dresses or over tank tops in the summer. And, obviously it's hot as hell outside in the summer, but whenever you go into a store or if you go to the movies or really anywhere indoors, it's usually a little bit too cold. So I've always wanted something I can put on and keep myself warm, but also something that isn't wool based or too warm, if that makes sense. So I found the Millie cardigan by Irene Lynn. I've been wanting to make an Irene Lynn pattern for the longest time, so this is kind of the perfect occasion to do so because her Millie cardigan is absolutely stunning. It's a fully laced cardigan, and you can make it in short sleeves or long sleeves. Obviously, you can modify any pattern to your whim and desire, but she specifically gives you instructions on doing both. And I really thought that this would be perfect to just layer over my dresses, layer over tank tops, and I favorited it last year. I'm pretty sure it's in my spring and summer roundup that I made last year. I'll make sure to link that down below because I did make a lot of suggestions for really good patterns. So if you're looking for what you want to make, or planning out what you want to make this summer or spring, definitely check that video out. But I'm pretty sure I mentioned the Millie cardigan in that one, and it's just really beautiful. I mean, all of her designs are stunning, but this one in particular works perfectly for what I'm looking for. So the design is knit in a DK yarn. It looks like she used a cashmere yarn, which I don't have the budget for that, but I do have a yarn in mind for this project, which I'll show you in a second. But yeah, it is a fully laced pattern. It is worked seamlessly from the top down, and you pick up stitches for the front band. So that means that you work front and back, which does take a little bit longer, and obviously it's a lace situation, so that's also going to take a little bit longer. So this is probably my most time-consuming make from my list, but I think it's going to be really worth it. It's breathable because of the lace, and the yarn that I'm choosing is also super breathable and lightweight. We have both charted and written instructions, which is always nice. I tend to prefer charts because sometimes when patterns are written out, I tend to overthink it and end up making more mistakes that way. So I'm definitely more of a visual learner. So I always appreciate a chart. It calls for a cable needle, so there is some slight cabling going on. But I am very much looking forward to making this. A lot of Irene Lynn's designs are very, what's the word? Oh, they have a lot of positive ease. So I might knit it a little smaller than what I would typically, because I might knit everything that I'm making this summer a little bit on the smaller side, because I am still working on losing some postpartum weight, and it's a big reason why I haven't been making a lot of things for myself, because I don't want to make something in a size that I'm then going to not be wearing in a year from now. So I've kind of been holding off, and yeah, so anyway, so for the Millie cardigan, I have this specific yarn that I purchased. It is the Kubu yarn by Lion Brand. This is a weight of 3 DK weight yarn, and it is 51% cotton and 49% bamboo. So I'm very excited to work with this because I've actually never knit with bamboo before, and it looks like a very silky and very drapey fabric that this will make. So I'm very excited to knit this up. The colorway is called Russet, I think it's Russet. And it's this really gorgeous terracotta rosy color. At first when I saw it, I kind of had regrets, was this the right choice? Because I don't think this would work above a lot of my garments. I could have gone with something more neutral, but y'all, I don't want to knit with beige. I'm over this whole beige and brown movement going on, and I just want to wear color and feel alive. So this is the color I think I'm going to go with, and I am excited to work with it. So we will see when that happens. So now that we have a cardigan, I was thinking I could use a little tank top, and this would be a nice breather in between projects, because I think that this cardigan will take a lot of time since it is a lace garment. And I thought that it'll be nice to cleanse the palette with a tank top. So to fulfill my tank top needs, I am going to go with the Alana camisole by Masha Ziablikova. I think I am saying that right. And it's just this really beautiful, very delicate cabled tank top. And it's really pretty. The designer gives you several suggested yarns, which I always appreciate because it gives you some versatility and different price ranges to choose from. So that's a big plus for me. So when I was looking for tank tops, it was really hard to find something that suited my needs, because either they were way too deep in the front, which your girl has big boobies, so I don't like showing off my cleavage. It's not something I ever felt comfortable doing. I don't like people to stare at my chest. So I would rather have something that's a little bit higher up. And a lot of the tank tops are either too deep in the front, or too high in the front, or too deep in the back, or too shallow in the front. and then you can see the bra. I don't like a bra showing. It is very like 2010s for me, like when it was really into wear like those bandeau bras and like really deep muscle tees. Not it for me anymore. So I wanted something that would be really bra friendly and would look kind of timeless and would work with a lot of things. So I think this tank top does it for me. It is very bra friendly and it seemed like a good option for me. It is worked top down, so it can be easily modified and I can kind of control better the way the bust is shown. I can either choose to start the body a little bit earlier or kind of just modify to my needs. I love a top down design. A lot of my earlier garments that I knit were bottom up, and those were a lot harder to like figure things out with or around. But yeah, I am very much looking forward to seeing how this turns out with like a Drapier summer yarn. I am very much used to cables being used with like wool or like a rounder 4-ply plus yarn, and I obviously don't want to knit it in wool, so I'm eager to see what this looks like. This does call for a fingering weight yarn, and I am thinking of using this Knitting for Olive silk yarn that I purchased. And I absolutely love this color. I love blues because, I don't know, I've always loved the color blue, and this one in particular I think is very pleasing with my skin tone. I have made the mistakes of buying yarns that don't really work with my skin tone, and then they just kind of sit in my stash, and I might do like a de-stash in the summer or like maybe in like later down the line, because I have a lot of yarn that I don't think I want to knit anything with. Because I bought the wrong colors. So I've learned a lot about color theory since and about what looks better on me per se. So I think this blue would work well. This is Knitting for Olive's Pure Silk in the colorway Blue Tits. And it is a 100% Burette silk, which has the OECO-TEX standard. And it is 50-gram balls with 250 meters to 50 grams. I don't know how many yards that is, but I'll put it in the screen. So I might use one of these silks. So very different colors. It's either this Blue Tit color by Knitting for Olive or Pro Soho's Cattail Silk. This is the colorway Rose Madder. It's very beautiful, but I think this might be too thin. This is definitely like a light fingering, and you do have some color variegation in the fiber. There's definitely some like deeper, almost bluish purples in it, along with some reddish pink colors, and then the actual pink color. So this would create a more interesting fabric, I think, since the Knitting for Olive is quite, what's the word? Monochrome? It's just one color. So there's not really like a lot of dynamicness to the yarn. So we'll see. I mean, they both honestly look very similar in terms of weight. The Pro Soho one is great. I actually got this last year with like a 25% off coupon. They were doing like some sort of discount on this fiber. Pro Soho is always doing some sort of sale, so definitely subscribe to them if you're interested in their yarns, because they're constantly putting things like 20% off. But yeah, this is an 100-gram skein, 618 yards. So a lot of yardage for one skein. I think these normally run around $30-something, but I got it for like 20-something at the time. So not a bad deal, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm stuck between these two colors. Let me know which one you like better for this specific tank top. They're both colors I don't really have in my wardrobe, so, well, especially the Rose Madder I don't have. But yeah, so that's what I have in mind to knit this garment in. And yeah, I think it might be enough to work with that one skein of the cattail silk, but it might have to be quite cropped, which I don't know how I feel about super cropped things right now. We'll see. So next up is something that's been in my library for a while. I've been having my eye on this set for a few years now, honestly. And I don't know why I never made it. But the time has come to make it. And it is Jessie Maid's Flutter butt shirt and butt shorts. And this is the color I want to make it in. I'm so excited. When I saw this colorway. I like almost screamed. It is beautiful. It is called Buttercup. It is knitting for olives, cotton merino. And I think this would look really beautiful with this, like as a set. If you guys don't know already, I'm very much a homebody. I work from home. I care for my son pretty much full time. So I'm always home for the most part. And I thought this would like elevate my homebodiness and make me look super luxe and cute. And I want to feel like the literal sun because I want to feel bright and cheerful and happy and excited about life. So I think this will do it. The design itself is knit in modus operandi's fibers silky fingering, which I'm actually curious. It is 70% wool, 30% silk. Now this is 30% extra fine merino, but with the 70% cotton, this should be super breathable and good for summer. And I think the colorway is everything. So I think this garment specifically is gonna look beautiful in these colors, and I bought enough yardage to do the full set. So I think that is something I want to tackle. It is a lot of stockinette, but everything is quite cropped, so maybe it is something that's a little bit of a quicker make. I might have things going at the same time because something like this that's like simply stockinette would be a nice thing to like switch to while I'm working on something like the Millie cardigan that's all lace, or even the camisole that's like cable. So we'll see. That's definitely something I want to make this summer, and I might prioritize that over the others. And yeah, other than that, that is pretty much what I had in mind for spring and summer makes. I'll probably link down below a couple of other garments that I am kind of on the fence about. I won't really talk about them because I didn't really prepare for that in this video, but I will list them down below. So if you're curious, you can check it out. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I'm planning on making. I want to get some spinning done this summer as well. There's a lot of fiber I want to spin through. I'm currently spinning a project at the moment, which I'll probably show you in a different video. So let me show you just 3 more yarns that I have in mind to work with this summer. It may or may not happen, but we will see. 2 of them I already had in my stash, so I guess we'll cover that first. The first one is a knit and crochet hand-dyed 100% cotton yarn. This is from Joann's. It's the colorway Mystic Purple. Rest in peace, Joann's. This I bought last year on clearance, and it's a beautiful like hand-dyed skein. I have 2 of these. There is how much yardage? 472 yards per skein, and I have 2. So definitely enough to make a top, maybe a tank top, maybe a t-shirt, probably just a tank top though. And I don't know how this is gonna knit up because it looks like this big block of purple and then a big block of like this navy blue. So yeah, this is something I'm considering working with. It doesn't feel too rough for it being an 100% cotton. It feels pretty high quality, but I don't really have a project in mind. So we will see. This is something I bought the most recently that's been sitting in my stash. And then before that, I bought this Cascade Yarn Ultra Pima Cotton Yarn. This is 220 yards for 100 grams. So it's probably more like a DK weight, right? I think so. Definitely not a fingering weight. I don't know how I feel about this yarn. This might be something I set aside for a de-stash sale that I might do, because I don't think the color is that flattering. Maybe I'm wrong, but I have a warm undertone and I feel like this is too cool for me. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think this works for my skin tone? I don't know. It doesn't like excite me that much anymore, so I feel like I wouldn't be that excited making something out of it. So we'll see. But this is something else I have in mind. Cotton is obviously great in the summer, but from past experience knitting with cotton, it does stretch quite a bit. Definitely wash your gauge swatches when you work with these types of like drapier fabrics. The last thing is this linen cone that I bought from Line Brand. I didn't know that they sold linen. I think it's actually pretty new. They partnered with a company called Silk Fibers, I'm pretty sure, and they have these cones for sale. They're lightweight fingering. I would say that is accurate. And this is in the colorway charcoal. I really want to work with this. I think there's about 1,500 yards in a cone. And we'll see how this knits up because this was a fairly affordable cone. I'll put down below how much I paid for it. I'll put it here on the screen. And it wasn't so bad. I did deal with some drama in the process of getting this yarn. I placed an order on Lion Brand for this cone and for the Kubu yarn I showed you earlier. And it shipped and I received someone else's order. I checked on Reddit and apparently this happened before as well to other people. And it was just kind of a nightmare because I wanted to make this video and show you guys all the yarn I was working with, but I was waiting to get this Lion Brand order in. So it kind of delayed my video and my whole process. But like, what a mess for a company to like ship everyone the wrong thing. I called customer service. Well, I emailed them and they didn't get back to me. So I had to call them, and apparently they have some sort of new distribution process that they're doing. And there's some sort of issue that happened where, I don't know, like, how does it happen really? Like, how do you ship to a different address? I received someone else's yarn that I still have. I received this order earlier this week. It was supposed to arrive early last week. So they were pretty quick in sending me the correct order, but I still have this other person's yarn. They ordered like a bunch of mandala yarn in colors that I don't necessarily like, and they're supposed to be sending me like a return label to send it back, but they still haven't. So I don't know, I might end up just keeping that yarn because if they don't send the shipping label, then it's mine. But I'm not even that excited about it being mine because I don't really like the colorways. So I'm eager to just have that sent because I just have this giant box of mandala yarn. So yeah, that's kind of a mess. And also, I didn't realize that Lion Brand bought out, who was it? Hold on. So yeah, I didn't realize Lion Brand bought Quince & Co. Did you know that? I didn't know that. I realized that when I was like emailing back and forth with the lady, and the Quince & Co. like logo came in the bottom of her email. So that's very interesting. But anyway, I really like Lion Brand. I've never had an issue like this in the past with their shipping department. And honestly, I feel like they're the best company that I know of that has a lot of natural fiber options for the kind of on the budget knitter and maker. So hopefully there aren't a lot of knots or anything annoying with this fiber, but so far I like the way it looks. It looks pretty smooth to me, and it's a pure linen, so I've never actually worked with a pure linen before. Hopefully I enjoy the process. It does feel a little bit like rougher, like kind of like a cottony material, but we'll see. I'm sure it blooms a little bit too and softens up with wash. So yeah, those are all the yarns that I have in mind, and I think I moved the camera a bit there, but I'm running out of battery, so I need to wrap things up here. I'm very much looking forward to making all of these things, and I hope that some of them do come to life this spring and summer. Let me know down below what you're planning on making. I'm very curious about what yarns you like to work with for spring and summer, and whatever cool designs you think I might like. I always love finding new designs to work with in the future. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Happy spring. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel. You can also follow me on Instagram at Starseed Creations, where I post a little more behind the scenes things. And yeah, I hope you have a beautiful and happy spring. Find lots of joy in your making, because I know times are tough and there's just a lot going on in the world. So just control what you can control, which is your making and your fiber choices and pattern choices. So have fun with the process, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.